Medias.
Okay, we're live.
All right, we're live here. This is my agent Haley, Grow and Go Network, real estate pros, educating, encouraging, and equipping agents and consumers. Today's guest on my show is Joelle Bell, loan originator. She's with Guild Mortgage. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you work out of the Sacramento office. Is that right?
Roseville.
Roseville office. Okay,
Mhm.
but you can help people pretty much anywhere. Is that correct?
Yep, as long as you're in the state of California.
Well, very good. I know that that's an important thing to know because a lot of times we build relationships with real estate agents and our lenders. And when it's time to move, maybe to a different neighborhood, maybe to a whole new county,
Mhm.
or from Northern California to Southern California, it's really important to reach out to the people that you've already established those relationships with, because chances are they can still help you. I know from the real estate side, I have team members that are willing to help my clients in Southern California. And for you, it's just a matter of FaceTime like this, right?
Right.
And the lending laws are the same. Each county might have something a little bit different as far as taxes, maybe, but
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
yeah, so we always need to keep that in mind. I know today I wanted to bring you on to this channel because you and I had talked about um, just kind of how important it is to have regular information out there that's good information that our customers are wanting. And we wanted to give back. We really, in an effort for me, I definitely wanted to educate, encourage, equip people. And those same words were words that like rung true to you, that were part of your mantra on being in business. And so with that in mind, we talked about doing a podcast together. So I had gone through some names. I don't know if you what you thought, but today we're just going to use my channel to kind of introduce this podcast and channel that you and I will be doing together, and why anyone would want to listen or tune in or kind of follow along. Obviously, we're pretty busy people, but on a weekly basis, there's going to be, like a market update.
Mhm.
We'll bring on a guest
Mhm.
that'll kind of talk about their specialty, right? So that's part of the real estate pros, meaning it could be from a landscaper,
Yep.
interior designer, a lender, new home builder, just a variety of things that you'll um, people that really are a part of the team when it comes to real estate, right?
Yes, because we all operate in teams. So I have so many partners from title to, like you said, landscapers, plumbers, electricians, so engineers. So yeah, we in this business you learn to meet a lot. You meet a lot of people. And if you've been in it long enough, you make really good connections that our clients don't have to worry about filtering through, and we can really bring that to them so that they don't have to vet and spend the time filtering through, because we've already went through that. We've already vetted these people. So I great.
And I think that sometimes people are afraid to offer up a name because they're like, well, then I'm going to be liable. What if they don't do something? The thing is it's a service. We have worked with these people. We've developed relationships. Our other clients have been happy using them. We've been happy using them ourselves. And so we're willing to offer those names and options. And of course, ultimately, it's up to the client to make a choice whether they want to work with them or not. But it's better than just opening up the Google and saying, hey, sure, there's Yelp reviews, but how many of those are their first cousins and their
Right,
uncle that made the review,
right,
right?
right.
So it gives them a little bit more solid things. So really on that whole thing on wanting to give back, what listeners can expect on our podcast. So if you're driving to work, or if you're driving to school, and or you're out showing houses, or you're just taking a break, we want to try to keep it 20 minutes or less, just something that they can check into, they can listen to, not necessarily have to watch it. Of course, they'll be able to watch it on our streaming, so they'll see our faces as well if they choose to, if they have nothing better to do. um, But one of the things I thought was, gosh, with our welcome, obviously we're going to say who we are, right? But really kind of starting off the day and kind of a reminder to our friends, family, and listeners. What are we grateful for? And not just because Thanksgiving is coming up in November and this happens to be fall, but literally every day there's got to be something that we focus on that we're truly grateful for.
Yeah.
We have a tendency, especially in this market, to let, if it bleeds, it leads, right? In the headlines. And so my husband sent me a text yesterday and said, well, no wonder people are like holding off on doing things. Look at these headlines. They don't understand what's really happening in the market.
I know.
And so I hope that our channel will be able to encourage people to really look at things differently and kind of peel away the layers, if you will, and filter through what is, bleeding and leading news, as opposed to what's some solid information on making
Right.
investments and moving forward.
Right.
Because I really do believe they do a huge disservice to people who are ready and prepared to make decisions today and move forward in real estate. So I wanted you to go ahead and share with me something that you are grateful for.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So many things. Today I'll say one thing I'm most grateful for is my family. I just got a phone call right before we hopped on this, and my mom called and she's like, "Where are you at? Your Rosie, which is our dog, our bull, is down the street. I just saw her. She just so happened to be coming in my neighborhood, and
Oh,
I just saw her down the street. She's like, "Are you?" She's like, "Where are you at?" So just like I believe nothing happens just for, there's no coincidences. I believe that she was led to be in that area to make sure that our precious dog didn't get lost, because she's still a puppy. She's so cute. Anybody will.
oh,
So I'm thankful for my family today. I'm thankful for my mom and my husband and my kids, and just having them in my life is really a blessing. We forget that sometimes. So that is what I'm thankful for today.
absolutely. I think that's something that we do tend to take for granted almost every day, right? Is our family, and that they're just going to be there for us.
Yeah.
But like you said, nothing happens for a reason. And the bully Rosie Angel Rescue was out today in full force. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Yes, and for me, I'm truly grateful for a text that I got this morning from my son. The text was my grandson walking into a chapel program at the very school that I took my son to when he was a
Oh,
little boy. So to see that come full circle,
yeah.
and it just blessed my heart. And the song that he's so proud of learning and singing, because he's in kindergarten, is "This is the day that the Lord has
Yeah.
made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." And it's, as you know, it goes back and forth and in the repeat. And it just got me fired up for my whole day, because really it is the day that the Lord has made. And I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it, whether it's sunny or raining. I'm going to be glad. And that's a choice to make. And it's a choice to focus on that. So, so absolutely wonderful. So family, our faith, gifts of generation to generation is a beautiful thing. I had sent you a little deal on, gosh, what are we going to do? Because I talked with my daughter too. She's 25 and she loves podcasts. She listens to them all the time. And so she's like, "Oh, Mom, I'm going to have fun with this." I said, "Help me, do something." And she's like, so it was almost like I had to get in a mindset of a different way to look at things and like how to grab people, right? Been in
Mhm.
sales and marketing for years, but so kind of a title that would grab somebody. It was like, "Spill the tea."
I,
Eh,
I yeah.
What do you think?
I love it. I
Okay,
It stands what it's abbreviated to mean too. I love it.
right, right. So, a daily podcast keeping listeners up to date on real estate through daily segments featuring industry guests. and the host, Joelle, and myself, Haley. So that's what they have to look forward to. My a little bit of background about me, which we'll get into later, is if there's been a job out there for a sole proprietor or entrepreneur, I've done it. Sold Tupperware, Mary Kay. I've been in the weight loss industry, worked for every single weight loss industry that's out there. I have been an aerobic instructor. I've been a private personal trainer. I've worked in health club management, and I have done sales and marketing over the years for just so many different companies and different things. And the last 26 years, I've been an insurance agent, branched out into real estate. And all along, I've been a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something that I like to give back. I love people, and that's my thing. And so meeting you was absolutely amazing. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what brought you to the lending world?
Yeah, well, I was in banking, so I started, teller to banker, went to assistant management, and in the banking world. Well, while I was in banking, my mom lost her home back in 2008 with the market crash, and I was just really intrigued with that. Like, how do you lose your house? I know what kind of person she is. So became very intrigued with the mortgage side, but I was still in banking. And so I spent time trying to get into it on the banking side. And I find that in the banking world, mortgage wise, it's very black and white. Their programs are very limited. There's very few people that you can help, right? So I said, you know what, I'm going to branch off and get my mortgage license. And I got my license and was in the broker world for some time, and did like the online lender and all that. And then finally came to Guild, which to me, I feel like is the best place for a loan officer, because it's the best of both worlds. You have the access to all the different programs, but you have a team that's really behind you. So for me, I'm like very passionate about, number one, educating first time home buyers about what it is that they're getting into, making sure that we really kind of review their finances in advance and make sure this is something we're committing to. We want, we can do this, we can handle this. I never do a deal on the basis that I'm going to refinance it in 6 months or a year. I'm always on the basis that we're thinking you're keeping this for 30 years, worst case scenario. Let's look at it that way. So that's just my angle and my, you know, passion for why I do what I do, is that I really want to educate and empower people like my mother who are hardworking, who have good credit, and just don't understand the intricacies of a mortgage, and just making sure they're getting into something that they can commit to and stay in. So
I'm an analogy queen. My family is always like, you always do good analogies. As you were saying that, I was thinking about the first time I went on a cruise,
mm-hmm.
and I thought that I knew what to expect,
Mm-hmm.
right? You read the stuff ahead of time, you feel like you're educated and you go, but until you actually start experiencing that. And then what happens when a storm comes and the seas are rocky and the patch that you put on your ear is not enough?
Right.
And then you want to take part in everything that they have, and the buffets and the different restaurants, and you're looking how many days and the excursions, and then you don't sign up for the excursion on time, and you miss out. And the opportunity that was there and that was allowed for you, going into it with just your own education on what you think the cruise is about,
Mm-hmm.
can lead you into having the most miserable, worst time, and you could turn around and say, I'll never go on another cruise
Right.
again,
Right.
right? So I think, honestly, when I look at a mortgage or a first-time home buyer, you believe that I want to buy a house. That's great. You see all this stuff. I want to own a house. But really, what happens when you're on that ride, right?
Right.
After they hand your keys, I mean, you're just so grateful that, hey, I'm not going to have a payment the first month. Look at that. I have a free month. I have housing for free for a month. It's not free, sweetheart.
Right.
It's the way that the days process and stuff. Sure, you just put a lot of money down based on the prepaids and everything like that. But the way sometimes people hear it is that this is the way it's going to be. And
Right.
to have an educated buyer that understands the significance of having your payment, your taxes, your insurance, and everything impounded, right? To set that up ahead of time, and to not get in over your head, to not get on that cruise ship that's actually a 21-day cruise as opposed to just doing a trial on a 3-day cruise, right? To see, is this something I can even manage or handle? And
Right.
I really look at the lender as being the cruise director that ahead of time can tell you, this is what to expect. This is what, make sure that you sign up. As soon as you get your stuff into your room, come sign up for all the excursions, because if you wait, you're not going to be able to go
Right.
skydiving or whatever, right? And
Right.
so really that lender is the one who's going to help you ahead of time before you set sail on this 30-year mortgage on what to expect, what the impounds, the significance of that, and doing it for their benefit, not for the lender's benefit or the
Mm-hmm.
cruise director's benefit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the cruise director gets paid whether people go on excursions or not. But to educate someone on how to make sure that you have a seat at the table, that is truly a service. And I believe that that's what type of lender you are, and loan originator and officer that you are, is that you want to make sure you give people a seat at the table and you
Mm-hmm.
walk them through it and make sure that it's something that makes sense
Right.
for the long haul. Well, I appreciate that about you. And that's again why I wanted to, kind of team with you to do this upcoming podcast. So just briefly, I'm going to go through some different types of segments that they can expect. People talk about what's your high and your low, right? So we'll share our highs and lows, maybe for the week or the month or something or maybe if it's even for the day.
Mm-hmm.
But why call it highs and lows? Why not call it flip and flops,
Yeah.
right? What made us do a backflip, and what made us completely flop? And of course, it has a lot to do with investors that buy homes to
Yep.
fix them up, and sometimes it's a great thing, and sometimes they like the person who doesn't fully understand what they're getting into, they get in over their head and end up losing a lot of money on that. And in fact, those are some of the types of people we're going to be bringing on the show, is people who will talk to you about in investing
Mm-hmm.
in fixer-uppers and how to run the numbers and see if it's a good thing to purchase in order to what the margins are and where you need to be to make sure that it's going to be profitable in the end.
Right.
Let's see, connections. We're always going to connect them with one of those guests. And we'll ask them, kind of like the number one thing that people should know about what it is that is their field of expertise. And then, acronyms. And I'm such like the little old church lady, but I'm trying to get a little edgy. But I was like, okay, we'll just call it the FU segment. And they're like, what? I'm like, when I got into real estate, I I thought insurance was bad. Real estate is even worse on the acronyms, on what they mean,
Yeah.
right? So you even go to like one of the classes and they're speaking in acronyms. I'm like, wait, could you go back and just so an FU is going to be our follow-up, right? So it's our FU segment, which is just our follow-up and make sure people have an understanding.
I
And so
love.
yeah, we'll kind of give you an acronym. So I know like there's uh in real estate there's a COP. Well, what's a COP?
Right.
I'm like, oh, it's contingent on the property selling.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So really that means that I have a house, I need to sell it first. So when I make my offer, I need to make sure that I have a COP in there that makes sure that they know that it's contingent on my property selling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's a contingent offer. But COP is not always. You went away, but you came back. What
Yeah.
was
So you called me, but it's okay.
modern
You're
day?
okay.
I, um, and then do you have an acronym in lending that, like, sometimes
DTI, debt to income
DTI?
ratio, PITI, principal and interest,
Okay.
taxes, insurance. Uh,
So
I
you
have
can,
a lot.
yeah, so you can imagine for a first-time homeowner, if you say, "Well, what's your DTI?" They'll be like, DTI, let's see,
Right.
my doors, my timing, my investments. I don't know, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah. So we'll always share and help educate. So as people are listening, they'll be able to figure out, get a little bit more into our world and understand what it is. Um, and then we'll spill the tea, right? So a hot topic in the news with our industry,
Right.
and we're gonna grab a hold of a piece of that news. We're gonna we're gonna share it, and then we're going to expose it, and then we'll give we'll spill the tea on it from our take, from being in the profession, right? And then we'll always have a closing, and we hope that their time has been well spent. They've learned at least a little bit, maybe been entertained a little bit. And I do understand that I do need to not be so serious and so little church lady like, grandma like. But I also don't want to be offensive. So, we're here to serve, and I'm looking forward to starting that podcast with you. And, it'll be up and coming. We're going to figure out how to do that. We're just exploring a few different ways to do it. So I'm set up right now on my channel, but we want to make sure that it's something that we have a joint effort on
Yeah.
with you as well. So Spill the Tea is a podcast up and coming with Joelle Bell with Guild Mortgage. And so this is kind of outside of our roles too. And I'm Haley Friedman, brokered by eXp Realty, and also insurance agent, broker. So I write all carriers in the state of California. But outside of those hats, we're going to be talking about the things that are going on in our industry from our personal perspectives as being boots on the ground, right? That we're in the field, we're working with clients, and we're coming across as the point of contact that works with the client, and what we're seeing in the industry. And I think when we keep that up to date, it'll help dispel some of the myths that some of those, if it bleeds or leads, headlines are
Yeah.
grabbing,
Yes.
right?
Yes. We need more positive, productive real estate news being put out there, because all we're hearing is the negative. It's just woe is me, woe is me, woe is me, and it's not. Every market has negatives and it's positive. There's always something you can find, and there's always a buyer or a seller. So in every market. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to put positivity into this world in terms of real estate, because it's so gloomy right now, and it's not. It's really not. There's a lot of positive things to say about the industry right now. So
There really is. And I think I want to leave on this note. One of the things you asked me when we first linked up today and started talking was, how was my first time home buyers doing? And the family that I went out to help. And I had to rearrange our schedule in order to accommodate my client, which both of us are very willing to do. And I just want to leave people with this takeaway for today as far as real estate goes. In today's market, there are people buying and selling homes. And when it is right for you, and when the timing is right for you, it is your time. It is the right time.
right.
I am working with a first-time home buyer and a sister and a brother. We're writing the offer. We went out and we looked at homes. The beautiful thing about today's market is it's finally balanced out, where
Yes.
buyers and sellers both have something that they get to do at the negotiation
Yeah.
table, right? It's not a one-sided deal. This is what we want. We want um, uh, fair and equitable transactions, that both sides feel like they were fairly represented. They didn't feel like they were like a victim of circumstance, right? So in today's market, this is the most beautiful thing that I can see. Sellers, agents are now properly pricing homes based on today's market.
Mm-hmm.
There is competition in the sense of There is other homes on the market. So as a seller, you're going to need to make things look attractive,
Mm-hmm.
right? And buyers now have a voice and they can come out. So those first time home buyers can go and they can get into contract, get keys to a home, and it's absolutely wonderful. One thing I can tell you, rent is always going to go up.
Yep.
I have never heard anyone tell me, hey, I got a call from my landlord today and they're going to reduce my rent.
Right.
Never, ever, ever heard that. I might have heard of a rent pass, a rate increase pass, where it stays stable, maybe for 2 years or something like that, or for 18 months. But I've never heard anyone have a reduction.
Mm-hmm.
What you get with a mortgage is you get a level payment and you get to work with that budget. And like you said, even if it's 10, 20, or 30 years that you have that mortgage in place and you never refinance it because those were the best terms available and they remain the best terms for the next 30 years, right?
Right.
Then you are in the best spot. So, and if they're not the best terms 10 years down the road, you pick up the phone and you call someone like Joelle, right? You
Right.
call
And it
your lender.
could be years, it could be 5 years, it could be 1 year. Never
That's
know. Yeah.
You don't make decisions based on rolling something in the future. You make decisions based on it today. And
Right.
there are people today that are selling and buying houses. There are first-time home buyers getting approved and
Mhm.
getting their offers accepted. So
Yep.
that's what I want to leave as a takeaway. So if somebody doesn't have a plan today, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. If you want to move from the rental realm into a first-time home buyer realm, Joelle is a great person to call for first-time home buyers. She'll be able to walk you through that. She'll help you set up a plan.
Mhm.
We partner together. I work in multiple marketplaces. If your price point is $380,000, I'm going to show you the places in California, if you're in California, where you can go and purchase a home for that price.
Right.
And I know those marketplaces because I make that my job to make sure that the entry level price points, I understand those markets and I'm part of those MLSs. I'm able to get people in homes. I've been getting people homes from the Bay Area, in Stockton, in Fresno, in Coarsegold, Oakhurst. There are Modesto, Merced. There are places where we can find homes that are affordable. And there are even some things to be had still in Sacramento.
Mhm.
So I just want to leave that with people. Get a hold of your lender, get a plan in place, find out what you need. If it's a credit cleanup, whatever it is, Joelle will go through the money part with you. Then she'll let me know what the timing part is. And
Mhm.
then I'll get you set up on a drip campaign where those homes that are in your price point are available for you. Joelle, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And what are your parting words for everyone today?
I think you said it all. That's exactly what I would say is there. Just sit down with a professional. Let's put a plan together. Let's figure out how you can make it work. Your plan may be a 30-day plan. It may be a 90-day plan. It could be a 6 month, 1 year, 2 years, however long it takes. I'm willing to work through it. We figure it out and we just see you through it. That's it. So
Awesome. Well, you're in good hands. We thank you for tuning in today. And if you're watching this after it was done live, the information is still great. Reach out to us. Joelle's social media is, go ahead.
well for homes. So it's
On
Jowell, the number four, and then
okay,
homes with the S at the end. So it's the same on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's the same. So
great.
Joe or Homes.
Joelle for Homes, and I'm my agent, Haley, on all social media. We thank you for tuning in and have a blessed day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.